All right, and both of our runners are now off. That's either medallion. We're gonna need that for Total Rock.
Yep. Pretty good indication that we'll be seeing that dungeon despite it being one of our red-blue pendants.
So Furaime is going for the Houlihan, it looks like.
Yeah. Just, you'll offset the camera on this screen, then you'll jump down the hole covered by a bush, and that's 225 rupees if I remember correctly. I'm actually a really big fan of this play in normal open mode seeds, even without the spoiler log, but here, you do it if you need it, you don't if you don't. At least that's the intention, I think.
And in this case, I'm suspecting it's probably going to be needed. I actually really like this based on what we saw in the log.
Oh yeah, and I think chat's going to really enjoy it too.
Oh.
In the meantime, Wulfy's bypassed that. He just went and grabbed his hammer from the Lost Woods.
Yeah, our tree pulls were garbage this time around. Really, like green rupees for the tier 2 and tier 3. A bomb refill for saving the fish. Just one bomb, not worth it.
Bigger bomb refill would probably be worthwhile, but just one, considering the level of effort involved there, probably not going to see that.
Yep, exactly.
We did see Wulfy open every chest in that hideout. Got one sword, got like 5 rupees, some arrows, got a second sword there. Don't see that one every day.
So something I've noticed in these spoiler races is that some runners will decide they'll just see an area and like, yes, there's something I need there, and then they'll just go to that area. They won't remember or mark down which specific chest they need to loot. And some runners will. They'll spend that time doing that instead of their meta route and just take care of that later. So it's kind of it's an interesting dynamic. Kind of see runners do one or the other. There's 300 rupees right there.
Yeah. The way I see it, opening all the chests in a condensed area like Blind's Hideout, you're taking an extra 3 to 5 seconds to get whatever miscellaneous equipment is there. And the runners that do that, I think, you're thinking that it's better to have than to skip and need later, especially in the case of things like bombs and arrows.
Oh, exactly. Like, if you had more than 15 minutes to study the spoiler log, by all means, you know, those seconds count. But you really, part of it is actually just balancing what you study in that 15 minutes versus, yeah, you decide to look up later. Like, yeah, Furaime knew that those other 2 chests were junk and skipped them.
Mm-hmm. And 15 minutes, you can do a lot in 15 minutes. You can't do everything in 15 minutes, as Wulfy grabs the Cane of Samaria out of the day.
Yeah, I wonder why he picked that one up, too. There has to be something somewhere.
Oh. There's the gloves on the bottle vendor we didn't mention earlier, but
yeah,
Wulfy's making plays that Furaime hasn't made yet. Furaime's making the plays that Wulfy made while he was doing the Houlihan room, although I don't think we saw Wulfy go into the well.
So something to really note is that, like, so far the routing has been almost as if you were just playing it blind. Where's our lamp? Like, there's really nothing out of the ordinary in a bow.
Right. You go to Kakariko, you go to the South Shore. That's your usual meta opening. Lamp and Bow provides very strong Eastern Palace direction, even if it is a green pendant instead of a crystal. So really, it's like you said, it's all the usual opening plays. Looks like Wulfy headed for either the Ice Shot Cave or a fake flipper play. And looks like Ice Shot Cave.
Oh, looks like Furaime is going to go for the fish save that I mentioned earlier. There you go. There's that bomb.
One bomb secret. I like it. I think one of the qualifier seeds, we saw a lot of runners do exactly what he just did for 8 bombs. Well, I guess he only had 2, and if he plans on making the same Ice Rod Cave play that Wulfy made, he'll need that extra one. But Wulfy is following that up with the fake flipper. He does not have the Moon Pearl, so he can't go to the Waterfall Cave. Given his rupee count, the only place he really can go is King Zora himself.
Yeah. By the way, there was a net on Zora Ledge. We probably won't see that this race.
Probably not. I know a lot of people love the bug net, but that far out of the way when you're already here, I don't think.
I don't think so either. There's our Dark World access.
Yep. Glove, hammer, and the most expensive Moon Pearl I've ever seen. Also, Kirby Fan 9000 asking in chat about the Cane of Samaria pickup, asking about GT's right side pedestal. I will point out, we saw both runners pick up the Ether Medallion, which is required for Turtle Rock. So, there is a fairly good chance we see at least that play.
May not see the whole thing, but we'll see some of it at least. We'll just have to wait and see.
Right. Looks like Wulfy's taking that bow and lamp right to the seed's intended location. Might swing down. Actually, not. I was thinking he might swing down and do pod first. But without the mirror, you'd have no way back to the light world. So doing Eastern first is generally the way to go there.
Yes. He went for the powder.
Powder is my second favorite safety. Glad to see it's in such a free location.
I mean, so far, this wouldn't have been not a bad seed to play blind. I mean, it was, except for Zora, but even then, you would have found enough money along the way, I think.
Yeah, Ice Rock Cave had a 300. The Chicken House in Kakariko had a 300.
Yep.
Heike typed in chat asking if Furaime's done something that Wulfy didn't. Furaime opened the game with a Houlihan Room play, which was slower than Wulfy getting the equivalent rupees out of the Ice Rock Cave. So that's about the time difference for them getting their Moon Pearls. But Furaime is going back to Kakariko, probably going to the Dark World if I had to guess, as opposed to Wulfy going straight to Eastern Palace.
Yeah. We'll have to see which... Like, I'm not really sure which one's faster at this... Like, we'll have to see how this pans out.
Yeah, because this is the first real route divergence we're seeing in this race, and it took almost 10 minutes to get there. So I guess we'll also see what Wulfy does, because he's approaching the boss of Eastern Palace. So once he kills the Armos Knights, we'll see if he goes same route as Furaime or takes something else.
So the question is, boss or Sahashala? It's the boss.
Yeah. Titan Smiths, though. Always good to have. And then Furaime opened Thieves Town, opting to get whatever this is. Oh, third sword out of the bombable hub before going in. Or presumably going in.
Yeah, the route divergence continues.
Yeah, with Wulfy headed for Death Mountain. That's a divergent play for sure.
I think I know what you might be doing. I'm not sure if it's better or not, but huh. So, question in chat, does the tracker, do they, so, sorry.
I'll interrupt you while you collect your words to point out Furaime did collect the mirror out of Thieves Town, and he's equipping it. Although he's also going for the back, so he's not going to use it immediately.
So, yes, the tracker does get access to the log. He has access to it for the entire time. And we do use that information to pre-fill the pendants and crystals and the medallions.
Speaking of our tracker, shout out to Hansen, our tracker. He's doing a good job keeping you guys informed on the state of the race by filling in the items as they're found, in addition to what Synak mentioned, taking time to fill out the pendants and crystals before the race started.
There's a nice 8-bomb drop. Yeah, resource management can be a real deal in spoiler races. Even more so than other modes. Well, except maybe expert. And even then in expert, it's... Oh, and Wulfy... Rip.
That's painful. He did grab the hook shot, and then he was going to head over to East Death Mountain, but taking that death, looks like he's going to go give it another try. But I do want to say, resource management, even in normal rando, compared to previous versions, where the bomb upgrades were moved out of the findable item pool and you have to go buy them instead, that means that in a lot of seeds, a lot of runners are going to be on 10 bombs for the entire seed, which makes bomb management especially a lot more of a thing you have to think about. And then spoiler doubly so, because a lot of runners won't route that in from what I've... Well, I say they won't route it in. They'll route it in on some level, but it's still a management-heavy game from what I've seen.
I mean, it's something you have to take into account. It's not like when you're just playing the seed blind. Your odds are you're going to get the resources that you need just by opening up junk.
Right, which is less of a factor in spoiler races. And our blind pun is a real groaner today. The food lasts centuries if you give it to a guard.
Good job keeping blind on script.
Yep. Very clean NMG style blind kill there. No damage, no nothing. Pretty perfect. Wulfy has made it to the top of Death Mountain, and he's going straight for Spiral Cave from there. Without the boots, it's going to be a long walk. Feel free to get Resident Sleepers or some comparable emote in chat, guys.
So, question in chat: what are the things that runners in these races would want to prioritize? Well, we can see Wulfy's going to be prioritizing something, and that would be the boots. Personally, I'm of the opinion that boots are overrated. generally, especially if they're not required. But yeah, some will want to prioritize the flute. Some will just want to get that progression out of the way. Like they'll want to get as much progression as they can that's along the way. You'll want to prioritize at least one armor upgrade just for the damage reduction. You're effectively doubling your health pool when you do that. Uh, it's kind of hard. It's really based on the execution skill of the runner and what they really feel comfortable with doing.
Yeah, it's really a game of knowing yourself and knowing what you're capable of to route things in. But I'll talk about the boots real quick. I think it was it yesterday or the day before the Akaboker versus Superman Taylor series. I think that those races and the routing we saw from both runners in those races really actually highlights what a difference the boots can make. I apologize for the spoilers for anybody that wanted to watch those races and hasn't yet. But in those races, we saw Ak hard nope out of crystal dungeons after getting progression items in the first chest or two. Like he got progression out of the Hera basement cage where Wulfy picked up his sword. He got progression out of the first chest in Ice Palace. He just hard noped out of both of those dungeons, despite them being crystals, to get the boots that much faster. And it did wind up paying off for him and winning the race for him. So I promised I would never call Boots overrated again after seeing him win with that sort of routing.
All right, you have me sold, right?
Yeah, real interesting routing if you want to go watch those races after the fact. Although I did spoil them.
I mean, it's really a matter of how much does it cost to get those boots early. I think that's maybe the question there.
Yeah, that's true. If the boots are somewhere in like GT, you're locked behind your logical 6 crystal, not much you can do about that. In the meantime, we did see Wulfy not nope out of this dungeon. He went up, he killed the Moldworm. Tempered Sword makes that real easy. And he's going back to the east side of Death Mountain now. Let's see where he goes.
I do like this.
Yeah, it looks like the Dark World. He's got what it takes to get inside Turtle Rock, though with the Fire Rod, I didn't check the key layout, so I don't know how far he'll be able to get without that. And not entering.
Yeah, I looked at the key layout. Yeah, it'd be a bad idea.
2 keys on the right side or something, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna need Fire Rod. Oh, well, never mind. I actually didn't see that there.
I knew it was there.
Oh.
I was just being a silly.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah. But
this is why I'm adminning it instead of playing.
yeah. But at the same time, there are some key layouts for Turtle Rock that will let you get as far as Laser Bridge, or even as far as Trinex without the Fire Rod. You won't be able to kill him without it, but you'll be able to get there. So there was a world where entering Turtle Rock without the Fire Rod was the correct play. Now, Furaime got his boots and he noped out of the mountain. Oh, Wulfy takes a death. That very well may have been intentional, though, given the look of things, to get back to the start of the dungeon. He doesn't have the mirror, but Furaime did nope out of the mountain after getting his boot, so he's not going to get the fire rod. He's not going to get whatever Wulfy's looking for in Turtle Rock. He will get whatever's in the back of the sewers here. Okay, and he will also, looks like, get whatever is in the cross room. You don't always see guys backtrack to that, but when you've got the lamp, finding that key rat is easy enough. Also, Unfit in chat asking where the mirror was. That was in the second chest of Thieves Town, if I remember right. May have been the third, but I'm pretty sure it was the second.
Yeah, it was somewhere in Thieves Town. All right, and Wulfy just keeps diving further into Turtle Rock.
Seeing very solid play from him in all of those rooms. That pokey room clear was good. And just dash through this one. And bonk your way over the roller to get through. So Wulfy has yet to find anything in Turtle Rock. The only remaining chests he can get to are Laser Bridge. He doesn't have the Ice Rod, so he cannot kill Trinex. So whatever he's looking for must be there.
It's a good idea to take the safety door. Yeah.
Yeah, one laser to the back is 4 hearts. He's got 5. He can take 1, but then that leaves him on 1 heart, which means that if he messes up a laser skip and falls, that's a death. There's his flippers. That must have been what he was looking for. And free armor. Always great when you're on such low health.
I think Wulfy completed his mission here.
Absolutely. Also, just to be clear for chat, we do have the spoiler log. We've both seen it. We understand the routing that Wulfy and Furaime are both going for, which, by the way, Furaime froze in the Dark Cross. He picked up the silver arrows out of that chest. You can see them equipped. We're mostly not, we're trying not to spoil chat until you guys can actually see the items they're getting.
I mean, unless you guys want us to do full-on spoilers, I could just read the entire log to you guys right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could go for that route if chat decided they wanted to, but... Anyways, it looks like we'll be seeing Palace of Darkness from both runners. Furaime already there, Wulfy on the way there. Crystal Dungeon, full clearable, may or may not be items inside. Setting up the hammer jump. Furaime froze again. I think he's got it on the freeze frame, but hard to tell for sure. Since he went back to the start of the dungeon, he must have. And just because we didn't actually, I'll wait for Wulfy to show you guys what was in the Dark Maze, but he did get a fun prize there.
No, I think we got a glimpse of it there.
Yeah, chat calling it out. Furaime did get the flute in the Dark Maze. Wulfy will probably be getting that fairly shortly. Although he's doing his key routing slightly differently, it looks like. Also, from Magic Terra in chat, I'm sorry to say that the red meringue is not actually important. If we were talking go at the blue one, sure, that one's useful. But the red one... yeah,
it's of questionable importance.
It's harder to use. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad Hanson brought that up in chat. That's another thing, especially like during the qualifiers. That's like a common theme, was runners complaining about really weird menuing that they have to do. Because like normally you'd have a lot more equipment. Like as you progress, you're going to get a lot of equipment that you probably wouldn't need. But in a spoiler race, it's not going to happen generally. So you're going to have like some really weird menu setups you're going to have to navigate if you want to do it effectively. And you can see some real menuing spaghetti if you're not careful.
I mean, clearly you've never seen me play normal rando if you've never seen menuing spaghetti before. But yeah, the qualifiers especially were a game of inches when it came to optimization. Like you'd see things like optimizations on the digging game and whatnot that were really cool.
Yeah, that did bring a tear to my eye. And there's our flute. And down goes Helmasaur King.
2 slashes of the gold sword. Speaking of menuing, that is everybody's told me faster than menuing to silvers. At least all the good runners have told me. So don't even bother there, even though he had the silvers for the one-shot kill if he wanted. Now, I do really like what Wulfy did. Like, you see a lot of runners when they think or they know that that Harmless Hellway chest is a key for a key, they'll skip it. But I really like seeing people get that chest and get that key just to get back to this main room faster so that they can run right to Helmasaur. And I feel like, even though it's the faster play, I feel like I don't see as much of it as I should.
It would be interesting to time that out and see exactly what the difference is there. It feels faster. I'm sure it is.
At the very least, it's fewer room transitions, isn't it? Compared to mirroring back to the start from the map chest or the dark maze.
Yeah, because it takes time to menu to the mirror. Then you have, maybe something to time out. But yeah, it just feels like it would be faster just because of the room transitions.
Check's human in chat calling out Wulfy doesn't have the mirror, so he was kind of forced into that strat.
That's true.
But I think even if he had it, I would prefer it myself. And then chat also calling out that Furaime did skip the magic powder. Makes me a little bit sad, but we'll see if he picks up my actual favorite safety later. Actually, no, I tell a lie. He already skipped that too. So and Wulfy won't grab it because he has the powder. So that mushroom up in the top of Thieves Town will not get grabbed today.
Alright, Wulfy's hammering out his differences with Helmasaur King.
And he went for sword strats against the second phase of Helma as well, but he had neither the gold sword nor the silver arrows. So, didn't have that much choice. Tempered sword's still pretty fast and much easier than the normal NMG hammer strat.
Yeah. Furaime actually skipping the pendant. That's something that you can do. You can just save and quit right out.
Could have mirrored out if he had his flute activated, but no dice there. And it's not like he needs the pendant.
And I think now Furaime is going to make the same play Wulfy did.
Yeah, he needs the flippers for Swamp Palace. You can't fake flipper around that with minor glitches. So it's something he's got to do at some point. And then he also needs that Fire Rod in Hookshot Cave to go to Skull Woods. And Ice Palace as well, unless he wants to go out of his way for the Bombos Medallion. So now is probably the best time to do it. He could go do Desert instead now if he wanted to and do that after. It's just a matter of ordering. And with the flute activation at some point coming for him, I don't think either one's especially more efficient than the other. Although with chat talking about pedestal not being a thing because Furaime skipped the pendant, I think looking at these guys' item layout, Wulfy I think will be in actual go mode once he grabs his mirror in the next chest, and Furaime will be the same once he grabs his Fire Rod out of this hookshot kit. Well, no, not Fire Rod. Flippers will be his like actual quote unquote go mode item out of the laser bridge.
So, kind of while we're seeing, our runners are kind of retracing their steps, and there's the mirror for Wulfy. While they're retracing the steps, I just want to go over kind of what a spoiler race is. Our runners at the beginning of this did get 15 minutes to study the log before the race actually started on stream. It was given them exactly the same time. They're allowed to reference that log throughout the race. They're also allowed to join us in chat here on the restream and watch each other. That is perfectly allowed. I haven't seen either runner in the restream, but they are welcome if they decide to do so. Some have chosen to do it, some haven't. It's really a matter of personal preference.
Overall, the rule set of this tournament is much closer to a traditional vanilla no major glitches than it is randomizer. And yes, as in chat, they are not stream delaying. Like, by and large, like I said, think about this as more of no major glitches than as randomizer.
Yeah. And when we were organizing this, that's kind of what our goal was. We wanted to make like a hybrid experience. We kind of wanted to merge the best of both worlds into basically what you're seeing right now.
Anyways, while the runners are retracing each other's steps, I tried to shout them out in chat, but the bot that links to their streams is dead. Give me one moment and I will manually do that. And after I do, if you like what you're seeing, follow these guys. They are fantastic runners. They're giving us a good show.
Oh yes, both of these runners, even though they kind of finished in the middle. So there was 32 slots in the bracket, and 3 qualifier races were played to determine the top 32. 3 of them were played, and we seeded the bracket based on your performance. and one was ranked 16 and the other was ranked 17.
And like I said at the opening of the match, I do think that both runners are better than their seeds, just subjectively speaking. I'm not going to go through and figure out how I would seed them if I were in charge of that, but that was my subjective first glance.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are good.
Yeah, for something like this. So the way we did the qualifiers is that they were done asynchronously. You were allowed to play your 3 at any point. The only thing we asked is that you had to officially declare when you were playing each one. So the format of the qualifiers was different from what you're seeing right now in the brackets, where you had a lot more time to study the log. So I'm thinking if you see like any difference in basically what you're seeing right now versus how they were seeded, that's probably it. There's really no good way to do this though. Like we went back and forth quite a bit to try to come up with a good format for determining seeding.
Yeah, and I think the one that you eventually settled on was one of, if not the best compromises for it. But speaking of seeding, I'd like to point out the winner of this best of 3 gets a match with the number 1 seed, Kyong. And that's going to be a match too, but this one's the one going on right now. That's the one to worry about later. And then we've also got some more minor divergence from the runners on their routes. Furaime's taking his flippers right to Swamp. Wulfy opted for Skull Woods first, but like I said earlier, they're both things that both of them know they have to do. It's just a matter of ordering.
Yeah, this really is anybody's race at this point. It's gonna... Once we start seeing some convergence at the end, we'll be able to get a good feeling on who's ahead.
Yeah, I do think it's hard to judge right now. Wulfy, after grabbing that Skull Woods crystal, does have the slight edge in crystal count. But Furaime's in the longer dungeon right now. So we'll see.
So there's a safety coming up here in Myershed. Is he gonna go for it? I think I got my answer.
Yeah, would be surprised to see him dip back into Myershed after not grabbing it immediately.
We'll have to see if Furaime goes for it. I don't think I'll see either runner. That's my prediction.
Nah, these guys blue mail already, 6 to 7 hearts. Furaime has the gold sword and the silvers. Wulfy does have the tempered sword. Like, honestly, Wulfy, if he were to fight Ganon right now, would be on a fight almost equivalent to NMG. And I know for a fact that he is really good at NMG.
Yeah. Correct. Furaime did not finish Eastern Palace, so to speak. He grabbed the Titan's Mitts and bailed before picking up the pendant.
And Furaime doing the number one, or trying to do the number one strat I love seeing and will never be able to execute. Did not successfully get the 0 cycle on phase 1 of Argus, but came pretty close. And then plunked the silver for the insta-kill on phase 2.
I think Wulfy's gonna skip silvers. I think he's to the point where he's not gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to. And like I said, take 6 hearts, double it for blue mail, and that's 12. That's only one shy of what you have in an NMG Ganon fight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it'd be like 13 hearts, I think.
Actually, I think it's 13 if you skip the Saint cart, 14 if
Okay.
you grab it. But regardless, it's a fight he's very familiar with. On the other hand, Furaime having the silver arrows, if I remember correctly, that only makes the fight like 30 to 40 seconds faster in NMG over optimal execution with tempered silverless strats. But that and the extra heart he did grab out of the back of the sewers is still a slight safety advantage to him. And yes, our tracker Hansen pointing out in chat, Furaime did save a little bit of time in Eastern with the silvers, getting the one-shot kills on the Armos Knights instead of the 3-shot kills. But Wulfy did successfully get the quick kill. So that's on the order of maybe like 5 seconds, I want to say. And Furaime, unfortunately, not getting the first try on the bomb jump. I think this setup is good, though.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got it.
I think he was a little too high last time, I think.
It looked like he was too low to me.
Okay.
As he was trying to line his sword up with the bomb shadow, and I could see a pixel between the shadow and the sword. Regardless, if you ignore that, first try every time. And yeah, chat talking about tempered sword strats against Argus compared to the silver arrow Furaime used. Gerdo's got the right of it. He'll lose, assuming he executes the fire rod 2-shot and then tempered spend quick kill properly. That's only like half a second difference. That's not a significant time loss. A bigger time loss would be as if it took him more than one cycle of spinning puffs to clear the first phase.
Alright, Furaime is gonna light up Cold Stare. That butter sword is like tearing through him.
Yeah, what was that? 4 slashes? Or I guess 3 slashes and a spin? Real free either way, and he gets a single arrow for his trouble. And a crit. And then Wulfy not using the 0 cycle strat that Furaime used. Oh, he doesn't get the quick kill, though. That's unfortunate. So yeah, he's actually losing more than a few seconds here compared to Furaime's real quick and clean execution of that fight. But he didn't lose that much time on the first phase specifically because he was able to get the kill right at the end of the spinning cycle. So that would only lose maybe half a second or so.
So right now, on Furaime's side, he has 2 more dungeons he needs to clean up. He needs to do Desert Palace and Skull Woods. Wulfy needs to finish up Ice Palace.
Both Desert and Skull Woods are very quick dungeons to go mode. But Ice Palace go mode is not that long itself. I don't think it's as long as both of them combined. So I would be surprised to see Furaime pick up his 7th crystal before Wulfy here. And yeah, Heike type in chat backing me up on that, saying it takes about 2.5 minutes to get to Cold Stare when go moding Ice Palace. Travel time alone means that Desert and Skull Woods will take more than 2.5 minutes for Furaime.
All right, first try, Wulfy. First try. Beautiful.
Yep, perfect. And Furaime with a very quick kill on that Moth Lord. No faster than the Tempered Sword because of how this game is sillily programmed. Fun fact for all you casuals out there, do not skip Mothula and brush the Gold Sword without getting his crystal first. Gold Sword slashes and spins do no damage to Mothula in normal vanilla game. Rando did specifically fix that.
All right, now Furaime is going into Desert Palace. Wulfy is making his way to the basement of Ice Palace. Yeah, Furaime's like, I have no time for that safety there.
Red mail is for cowards.
And Sinak.
It's okay. We are all cowards on this blessed day, besides the runners. And then Wulfy again with a very beautiful NMG style kill of Cold Stare, not letting it get out of the corner, and using the boot stashes to do full damage with his pokes to keep Cold Stare in the corner and quickly rack up the damage before spinning to finish. But just from watching his play in his boss fights, you can tell Wulfy's put a lot of time into the vanilla speedrun and is very good at it. Anyways, with Wulfy on his way up to Ganon's tower, normally we'd ask chat to start guessing things. We're not going to do that. If you want to guess, you're free to do so anyways. Make sure you guess locations instead of numbers, because these runners know where that Ganon's tower big key is, and they're going to zero in right on it and only pick up the keys they need and maybe a safety or two if they decide there's one in there that they want. So if you wanted to guess numbers, you'd guess a number between 1 and 5, probably at absolute most. So guess locations instead. It's more fun that way.
Actually, in this case, Towel Room is actually not a bad pick. If it is indeed there. Runners would actually like that.
Would they really? I mean, even if they know it's right there to go for it, it's still a tile room.
All right, I started a stopwatch for when Wulfy entered, so we'll get a good bead on their time difference here in just a second.
Also, I'm sorry, chat. You lose. It was the second thing that Wulfy got, and in what's usually the first chest in most conventional routes. But Wulfy did need to grab that key off the torch. That was the easiest key available to him before going and grabbing the big key out of the first room. And you need one key when you go upstairs.
Which, by the way, forgetting to get a second key is something that's even easier to do in spoiler races.
I have done it more times in regular rando than I care to admit. And it's a very painful experience when there is not a key upstairs to bail you out.
Indeed. Oh, I forgot to stop my stopwatch. It's about 1 minute difference, though.
Oh. Furaime actually taking an interesting route that you don't see often. He grabbed the pot key and he cut through the middle door. The only time I've ever seen somebody take that middle door in a rando race, they lost because they had to get a small key out of tile room to make up for it. So that's you better know what you're doing if you open that door.
I think it actually happened in the race earlier today. I think PKR versus Hydropower. I think PKR took the door. Or was it Hydropower? I forgot. One of them did.
Intentionally, I hope.
Oh, yes. It's just one of those small things that you just don't do normally. And it just kind of gives this format a little bit more charm. Alright, we got some fried land molas.
Yep. Nice and easy. What was that? 2 cycles for Wulfy? Very quick on the second one?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It's pretty good.
Can't really ask for anything better with land molas. Beats the crap out of the vanilla fight in Desert Palace on land molas 1. The bow is such a finicky weapon with normal arrows. So I think off the top of my head, though, with Wulfy being in this torch room and Furaime about to enter land molas 2, Furaime is about 4 or 5 rooms behind. Has a bit of trouble with this last gauntlet room, but Wulfy does wait out to avoid the tower despawn. Well-programmed game can absolutely handle you doing 2 things on the same frame.
The power of silvers.
Some people like calling that a 0 cycle kill, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to say they're wrong.
Oh.
But, ooh, Wulfy takes a bad fall there. That's unfortunate. Gives Furaime a good amount of time to catch up while he climbs back up to that Moldworm 2 fight.
Yeah, this is neck and neck right now, and with the silver advantage, this is not over yet.
Absolutely not. Wulfy's execution is going to have to be on point, both here, Agatu, and the Ganon fight. There's still a lot of places for things to go wrong.
Alright. I'm guessing that's probably the last heart container we're going to see.
Would surprise me if that wasn't the case. Aside from Furaime probably grabbing it.
double.
Yep. This could be a triple if all goes well. Blue ball keeps it from being the case.
Yeah, but we got it. 2-2-2.
That third one would have been the easiest triple of Wulfy's life if not for the blue ball and the fact that he only needed 2 to get the kill. Also, chat calling out ragging on glitches being overrated. I mostly agree, but I do want to call out, like, almost all of Link to the Past glitches are 2 things happen on the same frame and the game can't handle it. When all your glitches are from one specific case, I think it's fair to rag on it. Well-programmed game, everybody. Furaime only got a single on that first Saga 2 cycle. But he did get the double there. He's going to need a 4th cycle because this one has a blue ball attached.
All right, Wulfy is already to phase 3.
Yep. Got the 1 cycle on both of those 2 phases. Everything is on point. You can tell he's done this fight God knows how many times before.
All right, so Furaime is 1 minute behind. The silver arrows can make up that difference.
They can. I'm not sure they will. Wulfy played the first 2 cycles well enough.
Yes.
It'll really come down to how well he can optimize the last one. Oh, he gets a stun there, not a hit. That's the kind of thing Furaime needs.
All right, so it is neck and neck right now. Wulfy needs several more tempered spins.
If I recall correctly, the total is 12. Oh, and he misses the one there, gets hit by the fire bat. I think that this is going to be his 4th if I've been counting correctly.
All right, this is where the silvers can make a difference. But
Just gotta
not
wait
quite.
for the warps.
Yeah.
But Wulfy does finish it up, and all he's got to do is cross the bridge.
All right, get your GGs in chat.
And that's the game. Wulfy takes it. His time is 58 minutes, 40 seconds. And Furaime finishing right on 15 seconds behind at 58.55. But get your GGs for both runners. Fantastic race, and I think they both really showed what they're made of here, clearing the hour mark fairly cleanly.
All right, and we are joined by Wulfy. We'll probably have Furaime here in just a second, though. GG, man.
I think you might be muted, Wulfy. Or something. We cannot hear you.
Hello?
There we go.
There you are.
Yeah, I had my mic muted and I had push to talk off. Okay.
GG, man.
Yeah, that was interesting seed. Super close.
Yeah. Just everything, it looked like all your execution was on point pretty much the whole way through, which really what we can credit with you getting the win here as close as this race was.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy by my standards, but not too bad.
So, so kind of some thoughts here. I'm guessing so. Kind of one of the big things you did is you skipped silvers in one of the swords. I think that may have tilted it in your favor. You also had you went hard for the flippers early, whereas
Yeah,
Furaime kind of put him off.
it seemed efficient to get them while I was up there, even though it was a bit dangerous.
I'm a big fan of doing things generally as efficiently as possible, so I'll go on record as saying I agree with that play especially. And the danger was pretty clearly not an issue. You took the one death, but that looked completely intentional from where I was sitting to get the warp back to start.
Oh yeah, that one. I took a death on laser skips. If I had just
right.
done it, if I had just done it my normal way, I probably wouldn't have. But I had no margin of error for that, so I was like, I should take the safety door.
Yeah, and that's what the door's there for.
Yeah, the only rough thing about that seed is that there weren't a lot of convenient part containers.
You finished on what, 7?
Yeah, I think so.
I said it a couple times during the race, but if you double that to account for mail, you've got an MG right there.
Yeah, I guess.
I think the only really easy one I noticed you didn't go for was the one in the back of the sewers, which I think Furaime got that and finished on 8 hearts, if I recall correctly.
Okay, yeah. I usually don't go for them if it's gonna take me like, I don't know, 30. I don't know how long that takes. Probably about that much.
Yeah, silvers were there too, so it wasn't a completely isolated thing, but, or I guess more like silvers were sort of there. You could get the key, go back to the cross.
Yeah, they're in Dark Cross. So while I was fighting Ganon, I was wondering, like, should I have skipped them? But I guess it worked out.
Yeah, I'd say it worked out fairly well. The only real mishap I noticed was you got the stun on the very first one, which that one's a lot more difficult than it looks in my experience.
Yeah. Oh, the one death I really didn't like taking was that one on Death Mountain. I just got the worst boulder RNG I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you were still on 3 hearts at the time, and that's just a dangerous area in general. Nobody's going to fault you for that.
So what's going through your head as we go into game 2, which I think is tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening?
I just hope we put on another good show.
Oh, I hope so too. Like, I think it's going to be a good watch.
Maybe we'll get a bit more of a troll seed tomorrow. We'll see. That one was pretty straightforward to route.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been kind of bad if you were playing it blind, just because of the flipper's location. But
yeah.
Other than that,
yeah, I agree. If you were playing this one blind, the early game was super straightforward. Like, you guys were just following the conventional blind run route, and the flippers were the only real twist. And then the fact that that's the item you were looking for, you weren't going to take the slow dips into swamp or ice looking for them. And all the other dungeons are either ones that you had to go deep into for an item anyways, like Pod for the Flute, or they're super fast, like Desert and Skull Woods.
We did get the dream of both TR and Meyer being pendants, but unfortunately, those flippers kind of threw a wrench in that.
Still got to skip Meyer, which I'll take that any day.
Oh yeah.
Trying to think of more questions here.
While you think of that, I'm gonna just give another shout out and a congratulations to both runners. That 15-second difference really shows what a good race it was. You guys are on again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Doesn't look like we've got any other races tonight, but tomorrow is a full slate of rando from morning to night. So I could start going through all that games, but then we'd be here for several minutes.
All right. Well, I think that's I think we'll probably maybe just wrap up the stream then. I don't. Furaime isn't going to give us an interview, unfortunately.
Yeah, he never does,
Yeah.
but he's hanging out in chat, so.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and ask him questions in chat, feel free. Anyway, so we got some more races that are happening right now. There's right now on Speed Gaming 2, there is a Soul Blazer randomizer run. On Speed Gaming, there's a SMB3 randomizer. The ALTTPR daily race is happening on Speed Gaming 5, and on one of the other channels, it might be Speed Gaming 6. There's Kirby Dreamland race happening as well. And then tomorrow, I don't think anything has really been scheduled, but there are several ALTTPR spoiler log races happening tomorrow. So yeah, go ahead and check out the schedule, see if any of them have been scheduled yet, and if so, check them out. There's going to be a lot of action this weekend. We have about 20 races, I think, 19 races on Saturday and Sunday combined. We're probably not going to be able to restream them all, but I'm sure we'll get as many out to you as we can.
Yeah, I counted at least 9 races tomorrow. A 10th if this Furaime vs. Wulfy series goes to a third game.
Well, so we'll go ahead and sign off here. I've been Sinak, and I've been joined by
Reg. And
Reg.
good night, everybody.
Good night.